Hello, Honor Guard members, the Comics Kid 2099 here to talk about an episode of Green Lantern, the animated series titled Reboot. If you haven't seen the episode, you should do it before you go much further in this video because I am about to spoil it before I review it, starting now. Hal Jordan is on a mission with Tomar Ray, investigating a temple similar to the one that Hal and Guy Gardner found with Manhunters on Earth in the previous episode. They discover some more Manhunters, which is enough to prompt the Guardians to allow Hal to put together a small team to see if these are just isolated incidents or if there is more going on here. Hal gets Kilowog, and they find that one of the Guardians was about to dissect Aya. They rescue her, then find the Anti-Monitor and discover he's behind the recent reawakening of the Manhunters. Anti-Monitor blasts Hal and he disappears. Cue credits. So at first, when this episode opened with a fight scene that was pretty reminiscent of the fight Guy and Hal had with the Manhunters in the climax of The New Guy, I was afraid this was going to be the beginning of a formula where each Manhunter-centric episode would find the main characters looking for a temple on a new planet, finding the Manhunters inside, and then disposing of them. I knew there was more to this half of the season from when I watched it the first time, but since my memory is a little fuzzy, I thought that maybe all the stuff that I did remember might come later on down the line, and we would get a series of episodes kind of repeating themselves. But fortunately, it doesn't look like that is what is going to happen. If you're watching this series on DVD like I am, then you know that this half of the series is called Rise of the Manhunters. So you already know the Manhunters that woke up in the previous episode are not an isolated incident. So it is a little irksome that we have to see the characters spend an entire episode arriving at information that we already know, like finding out that the Anti-Monitor is behind all of this. But I guess this is better than if we had to wait several episodes of seeing the Anti-Monitor do stuff behind the scenes before they actually found out that it was him. But if I was watching the series week to week and I had no idea what was in store for me for the rest of the season, then I guess it would make sense for the Guardians to be a little dismissive of Hal's claims that something big is on the rise. But on the other hand, Hal did warn the Guardians that the Red Lanterns were a serious threat, and they were dismissive of him then. And then he ended up being instrumental in saving the entire universe from the Red Lanterns. Which, how does that Crystalline Lantern guy not know who Hal Jordan is after all of that? Oh well, not important. So while I guess it makes sense to have some facts before launching into a mass investigation, this is the guy that you should probably listen to whenever he says that something is going down. Then we have the scene where Hal and Kilowog rescue Aya. I think it's intended to be a funny, cute little scene, but it really just horrifies me how morally reprehensible Hal and Kilowog and the Chipmunk guy are shown to be. When they get the Interceptor back, Aya is no longer the computer program guiding it, and immediately Hal and Kilowog start verbally abusing the new guy inside the ship. Then they take his programming and swap it with Aya's programming, leaving the new guy to be tortured by the Guardians while Aya helps them in their new mission. This is horribly problematic because this series has already established that artificial intelligences are sentient beings with feelings. If you don't want Aya to be tortured, then you definitely shouldn't leave this other guy to be tortured either. And this isn't as indignant as leaving a guy to be tortured, but Hal and Kilowog are both acting like this guy is the most annoying thing that they have ever met, and I don't really get it. 10 seconds after they meet him, they leave him to be tortured. Seems like a bit of an overreaction, even if he is annoying. Also, much like how I applauded the new guy for taking it slow and easing us into a new status quo after the Red Lantern invasion, I like that this episode still isn't giving us everything. It gives us Kilowog and Aya, but we still don't know where Razor is, though Hal does seem to know. And if you're into the cutesy dating stuff, then you'll be happy to see that Aya's first question when she's brought back on the ship is where Razor is, so that's precious. Overall, I wasn't really feeling this episode. Part of it is that like a third of the episode is spent showing Hal set an innocent robot up to be tortured, but also, while the new guy certainly took its time easing us into a new status quo, it also had a good story to tell, while this one feels like it's just easing us into the new status quo and is pretty light on the story. But my hopes are high. I still have fond memories of this half of the series, so we will be watching another episode a week from today and talking about it then. And I do other videos throughout the week, so be sure to check those out as well. In the meantime, have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.